Well, the day's finally come. I said that I would hold off on making any videos about this transfer until it was actually done, and now that everything is signed, sealed, and delivered, it only feels right that I fulfill that promise for this channel. It's a hard one, this, but at the same time, it's not as difficult as other transfers have been in the past. We've seen players leave before, and we've gotten over it, moved on, and become better as a result of it. Not necessarily because the player as such was a bad influence on the club, but because we're a very united fan base and team that knows how to go through things and fight through the struggles, whatever those may be. Declan Rice has now officially left West Ham United to join Arsenal for a British record transfer fee of £105 million. This makes him the second most expensive signing in Premier League history. The only player who is above him is Enzo Fernandez, who signed for Chelsea for £106 million. I have a lot to explain in this video about how I feel about this transfer, but I can assure you one thing: there's absolutely no malice about this. Declan Rice's departure comes with a sense of relief, confirmation and reassurance on both sides. Arsenal fans are happy to see this deal go through for two main reasons. Firstly, it's dragged on for quite a while, and secondly, it's the replacement for Granit Xhaka. It's fulfilling a midfield position that is now going to be Declan Rice's for the taking for the foreseeable future, I'd imagine. For West Ham fans, this is a transfer that dragged on for so long and it affected the club's overall business this summer. Now that everything has gone through, it means that West Ham's finally got some money in the bank to start making signings. And insider reports suggest that these signings are going to come very soon because bids are expected to go in. I'll talk about that in a separate video because the focus on this is about Declan Rice. The transfer saga with Rice was to be expected. Fans had chanted for him to stay for 10 more years, but his heart and soul was set on leaving the club for the betterment of his career. This meant that teams would be lurking around West Ham to try and capture his signature. Bayern Munich was rumoured to want to sign him, as were Real Madrid and Manchester City. Manchester City looked like a very good and plausible destination for Rice. The 24-year-old would have wanted to work under a world-class manager in a world-class team, and trophies would have been almost certainly a guarantee for Dec. Arsenal was a more logistical move. He would be able to stay in London and be closer to his family. And also, Arsenal has a project in place. The trust the process analogy has well and truly come to light now, with Arsenal challenging for the league for most part of last season, only to come short. Rice had to discuss this with his family and within the club. We West Ham fans knew that this day was coming, as I constantly reiterate. But it was for the right thing. I think that he's leaving on good terms, having just won the Conference League trophy. And I think he's finally going to get the respect and the honour that he has ever so deserved. We've seen Declan Rice grow up at West Ham. The first 2 years of his career were a big learning curve. He learnt from mistakes and made a lot of firsts. First team appearance and first goal were major milestones. Over time, Declan became the face of a young West Ham team. He became a cornerstone in that midfield, as well as a future leader. Mark Noble certainly saw that in Rice, and the latter was appointed team captain in 2022 upon Noble's retirement. Now, a lot of fans at this point were a bit critical at the same time. They were proud, but they were also critical. They didn't think that Rice had the leadership abilities that Noble always possessed. But Declan Rice's presence on the field was always there to show. He arguably carried West Ham for a long time. I think it's fair to say. He was the heartbeat of that midfield, carrying balls long distances and breaking up plays, and showing all the traits of a modern defensive midfielder. The term world class might feel like it's overused, but for Declan it really wasn't. He was absolutely sensational every single time he put on that jersey and went out on that field. And it's going to leave a void with him not being at West Ham. So what does this mean? I'll tell you this, if you're an Arsenal supporter watching this, you are getting a complete midfielder and someone who will be absolutely vital in your team. Arsenal has a lot of very good midfielders. Players such as Martin Odegaard are very astute and excellently competent players. I think that with Rice in the Arsenal team, the defensive and attacking aspects certainly will benefit that side. Arteta's attacking football will gain something from Rice way further deeper. And that's something that Arsenal fans should be excited about. For West Ham, we have a job to replace Rice, and it will never be easy to replace a carbon copy of this player. We can't look to replace someone who's got the exact same credentials. It's not doable. So, with that said, we have to sign at least 2 or 3 midfielders. Edson Alvarez is now high on the radar. Given that Borussia Dortmund pulled out of a move for Alvarez, it seems that he could be the one who gains the most interest and subsequently fill the gap that Declan left. I'm going to read now a quote that David Moyes has said about Declan Rice and get some, I suppose, closure and some opinion on this. And honestly, what David Moyes has said about Rice is as professional as the player was. I would like to make it clear to our supporters that we did not want to sell Declan. We wanted to build our team around him and made a series of improved long-term contract offers to secure his future. However, once Declan made it clear that he wished to move on and seek a new challenge, the club felt it would not be right to stand in his way, acting in the best interests of West Ham United. He leaves with the sincere thanks, respect and love of everyone here. Having earned his place alongside the great Bobby Moore and Billy Bonds as the only players to have captained West Ham to a major trophy. More than that, he has always given absolutely everything for the football club throughout his time with us. Declan will forever hold a special place in the hearts of Hammers fans and everyone at the club. We wish him well for the future, and he will always be an inspiration and an example to any young player coming through our academy. I would also like to add that Moyes said in his own words, no player is ever bigger than the club. And no words could have been truer. The manager has nailed what he said there. He knew that if Declan Rice had stayed on, it would result in Rice probably tying the club down, and it would just create problems within the team. It's kind of like the saying, going, gone. In a way, you have to let Declan spread his wings now and make the most of this career. The life of a footballer is not very long, in all honesty, and opportunities like Arsenal don't come around every single day. Moyes understands it. The club understands it. And our fans mainly understand it. This brings me on to my final point. Our supporters have generally been excited for this Rice sale because of the money coming in, but they're also very sad and annoyed at the announcement video. Other fans are saying it's the board's fault. No, it's not. It's nothing to do with David Sullivan. The player never put in a transfer request, but he wanted to leave for the benefit of his career, like I say. It's not right to blame the board for this as such. Other people are saying that it's David Moyes' fault, which is like, not. And I don't understand the logic behind saying that it's Moyes' fault. But still, our Arsenal fans are being absolutely cringy. The AFTV media people are doing like a Rice baby dance. DT, woman beater, is seen eating rice, going, rice tastes good. And then he's saying, oh, you sold your star to Mikel Arteta, more like you beat your bird, you violent turd. That's what it should be like. Anything DT says about Arsenal is just not on, really. Can't stand the man. But I'm not here to give him attention. AFTV was always saying that the Declan Rice transfer would go through. Robbie was always confident of it. And lo and behold, it did go through. And now we've got to replace the guy. This brings me on, by the way, to the final conclusion. Declan Rice is one of the best players I've seen at West Ham in my whole lifetime. He's been a true professional and a real game-changer player. To say that I'll miss him is an understatement. And for my thoughts on the overall sale of Declan, you can watch the video entitled Dear Declan on my channel. It's the one I uploaded prior to this. This is a difficult time for the club, but it's one we'll get through. And I'm now excited for what the future may hold at West Ham, and for Declan's future as well. Hopefully he can win some trophies in his lifetime, and if he does, then it's totally deserved. Thank you for everything, Dec. We're really proud of the player and the person that you have become, and we wish you nothing but the best for the future.